should get started. Okay, I'm Karen. We ready? Let's get started, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start this meeting. I'm going to call the February 4th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting at 7 o'clock. Karen, can I get a roll call, please?
Brian Booz.
Aye.
Lydia Galante. Here. Nimitz Johnny. Joseph Lewis.
Here.
Harry Wallach.
Here.
Jason Wertz.
Here.
Chairman Patel.
Here. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from November 5th, 2024? Second, anybody?
Second.
Okay, Lydia. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Petitions. The first one tonight on the agenda is PZ 231113. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for PZ 1113? PZ 231113.
Second.
Roll call?
Jason Wertz. Brian Booz.
Aye.
Lydia Galante. Aye. Nimitz Johnny. Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Harry Wallach.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Karen,
Okay.
you're up.
So the first case tonight is PZ 231113. The applicant is Nema Properties. They're doing business as Jet Bright Car Wash. The subject property is 17 East Nergy Road and 1629 South Roselle Road. So the property known as 17 East Nergy Road is within the village already incorporated, 1629 is unincorporated. They're asking for a zoning map amendment upon annexation for the unincorporated property to B4 General Business District, a special use permit for a car wash in the B4 zoning district, a variation to permit a wall sign of 70 square feet in lieu of the 45 square feet permitted, and a variation to permit wall signs on 3 building sides from the permitted 2 sides, a variation to permit 2.9-foot candles at grade and 0.8-foot candles at 3.5 feet above grade on the west property line near the vacuum canopy, in lieu of the 1-foot candle at grade and 0.5-foot candle at 3.5 feet above grade, and a variation to permit 5.5-foot candles at grade and 5.8-foot candles at 3.5 feet above grade on the south property line at the southeast side, in lieu of the 1-foot candle at grade and the 0.5-foot candle at 3.5 feet above grade. And a variation to permit no foundation landscaping in lieu of the 7 feet required, and a variation to reduce the required loading zone width from 12 feet to 10 feet. And then they also have a plat of consolidation to consolidate it into 3 parcels, or consolidate the 3 parcels into 1. So the site is surrounded on the north and south by business districts. To the west is unincorporated Cook County Zone C6 Automotive Service District, and then we have R1 Single Family to the east. They have submitted plans for a new Jet Bright car wash to be constructed on the property. The building will be facing Roselle Road and be parallel to Nergy Road. They have 45 parking spaces for vacuums that would be located primarily on the lot that's perpendicular to Nergy Road. So this is an L-shaped lot, which is what is kind of necessitating some of the variances. The building itself meets all of our setback requirements for the B4 zoning districts, which is in the chart on the second page of the staff report. It's basically the same exact building that's at the Jet Bright on Lake Street. So it's, an express car wash with a conveyor belt that guides you through the building. There are 3 pay stations on the south side of the property. The building meets all of our, like I said, the setbacks as well as height requirements for the B4 zoning district. As the eastern property line abuts residential properties, a landscape buffer has been provided, which is shown on the landscape plan. I have also recommended a condition of approval be added to require an 8-foot privacy fence installed along that eastern property line to provide light and sound buffering for the residential properties. They've submitted a traffic study, and based on KLOA, who's a preeminent sort of traffic study engineering firm in the area, they do not expect any negative traffic impacts once the development opens. Levels of service is what it's called, and they're not significantly impacting existing conditions. Stormwater is meeting code. They're going to do some best BMP's best management practices, which will be reviewed and approved by staff at building permit. And another condition that I'm recommending is a cutoff time for the lights and the music that is played at the around the vacuums due to its closeness to the residential homes. I've spoken with JetBrite on this already, and they've agreed to a condition that would limit this. They said they've done it in some of their other locations that are next to residential properties. So they don't have an issue with either the fence condition that I've proposed or this music limitation. For the wall sign variation, so we granted JetBrite similar variations for their location on Lake Street. So the first one is for a 70 square foot sign in lieu of the 45 square feet permitted on the west elevation of the building. So that's where the cars are exiting. So the wall itself is smaller, but that's actually their main viewing wall. So staff recommends approval of that request because we basically granted them the same thing, actually bigger, at their Lake Street location back in 2019. They're also requesting a variation to permit wall signs on 3 sides of the building in lieu of the 2 permitted. If the building itself was located on the hard corner, this would be allowed by code, but because it's an L-shaped lot and it's not technically on the corner, they are requesting this variance. The next variation is for landscaping. So the new zoning ordinance requires a 7-foot landscaping area around the foundation of a building, any building. Part of the building has a landscaping area for about 5 feet in width. Otherwise, it's a sidewalk around the building for employees to access the site. And there's lots of landscaping proposed along the property lines and in the parking areas, so staff is supportive of the landscaping variation. And then the lighting variation. So I included some like zoomed in shots from the plan in the staff report, just because lighting plans can be difficult to read. The first is located kind of at the corner that meets Rosario's parking lot near one of the vacuum buildings. That's the location where they're requesting a variation to permit a maximum of 2.9 foot candles in lieu of the 1 foot candle permitted. Staff feels that, this spills over onto an adjacent parking lot with similar hours of operation. So the impact should be fairly minimal. So there aren't any major concerns from staff about that variation request. The second lighting variation is at the southeast corner of the site where it meets the gas station. That's right where the pay stations are located. So that's kind of where the light is coming from. And that's where they've requested the 5.5 foot candles at grade in lieu of the 1 foot candle required. This is a larger variation request than the first one I just mentioned, but it's spilling over onto a neighboring commercial property. So similar kind of situation, where it's, same hours of operation, same kind of traffic use. And if you look at the lighting plan for this area, there's not going to be any spillover onto the residential zone properties. So staff is comfortable with this request as well. And then finally, the loading zone variation. So that's in the zoning ordinance, and it's mostly applicative to a business that, gets a lot of deliveries. Because it's a car wash, they don't expect a high volume of deliveries being made to the building, and they've expressed that any deliveries would be completed during off-peak hours. So staff is supportive of this request. And then the plat of consolidation is also in here for your review and recommendation. It has all of our requirements for plat of subdivision. So yeah, that completes my report. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions. Karen, I mean, the signage variation. I understand that we did this in 2019 for another JetBrite location, but what is the hardship here? Why the request is, why can't they meet the standard 45-foot variation? Standard 45-foot requirement?
That would be for them to answer.
Okay. Can I have the petitioner come up and answer that question? Oh, sorry. I have a question on the signage variation that you guys are asking for. Can I have somebody come up and answer? I would have to have your name and address and swear you in first. Can I get your name and address, sir, please?
Yes, my name is Chris Kolashevsky. I'm employed by WT Group. We are the architects, and we are at 2675 Pradham Avenue, Hoffman Estates, Illinois.
And
We
can I have-
actually have a PowerPoint presentation that I'd like to show, and I could answer that question specifically.
Perfect. Could I have you raise your right hand?
Certainly.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Sure, if you have a PowerPoint, would love to.
Sorry.
Sometimes the remote works and sometimes it doesn't.
I need to point anywhere. We do have a presentation. Would you like me to go through it, and then as I go through it, answer that question, or do you want me to go directly to that?
I mean, I'm just interested in the signage variation, so
Yeah.
if you want to go straight to that point, I'm fine.
Okay. First of all, then we'll forward to the site plan, the colored site plan, please. And the sign that we're talking about is on the left-hand side of the building. It is a shorter side of the building, but it's really the main side of that building. And your square footage is dependent upon the length of the building. If we were at the hard corner, the length of the building would be the long length, and we would be not asking for a variation. And even though we are asking for a variation, we want to make it clear that we're allowed 512.25 square feet of signage. We are only asking for 350 square feet of signage. So we're leaving over 160 square feet on the table because we know we're asking for a variation. But as the traffic is coming up Roselle Road, and I'm sorry to, is the pointer not working? If you could stay, did I just do that? We could stay there. As the traffic is heading northbound on Roselle Road, the sign in question is what's called a parallel facing sign. The United States Sign Council, also the American Planners of Association, have very very described requirements for the size of sign to be recognized in a safe environment. It's a function of the speed of the road and the complexity of the road. This is considered a complex road with what's called a visual reaction time of 10 seconds. And when you do the mathematical formulas for the United States Sign Council, they recommend the appropriate size letters to be recognized from the cone of vision and in a safe manner. And so that is what is stipulating the size of the sign, because it is parallel to the road and because of the speed and complexity of it. Again, we want to reemphasize that we are leaving 160 square feet of signage on the table to ask for this variance. It's just a matter of allowing us to make a sign that's safe from the United States Sign Council's perspective, and that's why we're asking that. As we go through also, the other signage variance there was for the 3 building sides, and that would be allowing for perpendicular locations of the signage on the building itself. Again, adding all the signage together, we're still 160 square feet less than the allowed square footage. I apologize that the mouse is not working, but basically want to just go through the site itself. Customers come in off of Roselle Road. There is a stacking lane that allows for cars to stack, but also right adjacent south of the building, there's a 5-foot landscape area for foundation landscaping, and then a 10-foot loading area. Again, the loading is done off hours, and there's really literally for that area, we have over 40 feet of pavement in that area. So it's not like a truck trying to fit into a very narrow strip and driving over landscape or anything like that. It's very easy for them to maneuver into that loading zone. It's usually just a small box truck that's delivering chemicals and then can go around the site and out and will not be sticking out into the traffic. So the 10 feet very easily accommodates the needs of the type of trucks that we use for loading. The other item for the foot candles, so we've talked about the 2 signage ones. We've talked about the stacking or the loading zone. The other one is the foot candles, the 2 of them, as it was pointed out in the report, on the upper arm that's going up towards Nergi on the left-hand side, roughly where the 3 trees are shown. If you go directly to the left, that is an aspect of where the light is slightly over the 1-foot candle. Again, these foot candles do not take into account any fences, any landscaping that we're having there. So it's just like nothing was there. And obviously the trees are there that will be blocking some of the light. Again, it's from commercial to commercial. It's 2.9 foot candles. That's less than 3 candles in a square foot. So that's how still very low level lighting it is. The other corner is in the lower right-hand corner of the site, basically just left of the tree at the very lower right-hand corner. And that is up at 5-foot candles, and that's right next to the pay canopy. Both environments, both the vacuum on the upper left-hand side and then the pay canopy on the lower right-hand side, are task-orientated activity areas. And so the foot candle ratings for those areas are required for the proper visual task of the task. Sorry, the proper visual illumination to allow for the task to be proper. And so that's why we're asking that. Please note that on the west side, or I'm sorry, on the east side, we're at 0.1 versus your allowed 1-foot candle along the residential property. So we're 1/10 the allowed foot candle there. We're very cognizant of the neighbors. As you know, this is not their first car wash. They have 11 in the area and have been in the car wash industry for decades and are known for 3 things. 1, their involvement with the community. 2, their very positive staff that they hire and friendly staff. And 3, the maintenance of their facility, both from a landscaping perspective, a building perspective, and a cleanliness perspective. So they're all very good in terms of operating in their communities. So with that said, again, at the landscaping, the required setback is only 10 feet. The minimum we have is 18 feet, going up to 24 feet. So on an average, we are twice the amount of landscape area that's required. And so from that standpoint, we feel that we're meeting all the intents of your comprehensive plan. I can go through your, your 5 points of the map amendment, the special use 4 points, a variation of the 9 points. But I think with the quality of the materials that we do show and use, that we are intending to meet all of those. And if you have a specific question on one, we'll specifically address that. We could just go through the slide deck a little. So here's a site plan. All the buildings are masonry bearing buildings. They're precast, actually, paneled buildings. So all, and then the roof is also a precast concrete roof. So any sound is contained within the sound. All the cylinders for the vacuums are within the masonry enclosure. We have, as you go from on the top elevation, that's the entry point, and then you're going through the building, exiting on the right-hand side. The windows are facing the vacuum area, and again, it's all masonry. Any sound would be coming out of the drying area and going to Roselle Road. We know that we have the state of Illinois regulations in terms of the decibels that we need to meet, and there's no option. We need to meet. So that happens. We are more than in favor of the soundproof fence. We propose a Simtech fence, which looks like stone, but is made of material that is sound absorbing. And our only question is what the community would like in terms of the height. 8 foot has been put in the staff report. If a taller one is needed, we're willing to do that as well. And we could also work with the community in terms of where that fence is placed. Right now, like I said, we have 18 feet of landscaping at a minimum. And do we want to put the fence right on the property line? That's fine with us if that's what's preferred as well. Or maybe negotiate it and put it 5 feet into the property or something and give a little more room to the residential. So we're willing to work in either way. JetBrite is a very good neighbor. I think you know that from the existing facility that's in your neighborhood. And we are, all our setbacks, we're 10 times the required setback. We are twice as much in terms of landscape. We are 160 square feet less on signage. Our foot candles meet all the requirements except for 2 points, 2 areas where tasks are involved. And so I think our proposal is very clear in terms of not only meeting the intents of your zoning ordinance, but also wanting to be a good neighbor. We also have with us Javier Milan from KOLA, who is our traffic engineer. And then also we have Lauren Kuczynski, who is our civil engineer. Way too much, I apologize. And we're just available for questions.
I have one other question on the foot candle specifications that you're going in terms of overvariance. Did you get buy-in from the commercial neighbors? That was okay for them?
I do not believe that the owner has asked them specifically. We can go there, but quite frankly, from me being at the site and their light spill onto our property, they might actually be spilling more on our property than we are to them. So, and I can take a foot candle readings of that and report that to the village board if that's required. But I really feel from seeing the site that we are not adding any more light.
No more questions from my perspective. Commissioners?
Karen, Just to clarify, if their building was bigger, that would allow for a larger sign of that?
Yes,
Okay, so it's proportional to the side?
Yes.
Because that side is so skinny, that's
yes.
the reason for the variance?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense, thank you.
And or if it was perpendicular.
Yes.
Karen, I have another question, or a first question. Rosati's Pizza has a 10-foot bike path that wraps around it. And it dives down to a 5-foot sidewalk on this property. Can you give us a little history of why we have a 10-foot path on Rosati's? And why we have 5-foot sidewalk on the adjacent properties?
That is an excellent question, Terry. That was before my time, before the village engineer's time. We cannot find any written documentation about why that was required at the time. So that's why the plans for JetBrite just show a regular 5-foot sidewalk. We talked to, Cook County Highway Department about it as well, and they're like, we don't know why a 10 or that 8-foot or whatever asphalt bike path was installed. So I do not have a good answer, but we have confirmed with everybody that the regular 5-foot wide sidewalk is what's appropriate for the site.
And I worked on the design of the resurfacing of Nergi as well. And they didn't understand how come the asphalt path didn't connect to the intersection with an ADA ramp.
Yes, yes, we had those internal discussions as well when we were reviewing these plans.
And there's nothing on our bike path plan that indicates why it would be there either.
No.
I just wanted to make certain that I wasn't missing something.
I mean, we are missing something, but it's just an explanation for why.
Any other questions from board members? Any concerns or questions from the public? Oh,
I just had another one regarding the the fence / noise wall, noise abatement wall. That whatever the height is, that we don't run it all the way to the north property line, but we step it down behind the garage so that it's not higher than the garage or that shed or whatever is back there. And so that we don't create a sightline problem.
Yes.
you want me to just call these individuals up? Okay. So in no particular order, I mean, we do have some resident participation forms here that I think people are interested in conveying some comments. So if I could ask Ted Salka to come up to the podium. Ted, could I please swear you in first and get your name and address as well?
Yeah, my name is Ted Saka. Address is 611 North Roselle Road.
Okay, can you raise up your right hand? And then do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please.
It's not specifically about the sign. It seems like, nobody knew about even the site plan. And then I'm glad that the one for I don't know where the staging area is going to be. It's just a traffic nightmare to begin with at Roselle Road and Nergy or Pratt on the other side and that, where it gets all jammed up and everything. I don't know how, and the way the road curves in, going north before you get to Nergy, it cuts off that lane anyhow.
Okay.
So you're going to be down to just one lane, and that late really takes a long time, and the traffic backs all the way up to 390 over there. I mean, that's just one of the things. It just seems like this meeting is kind of like the horse before the cart, where nobody even knew what the site plan was going to be.
Okay. They did some traffic studies on this, so I'm sure that there might be some commentary from, I forgot. You want to comment on that? Could I also swear you in as well? Gotta do the formalities first. Can we get your name and address, please?
Good evening. My name is Javier Milan. I'm a principal with KLOA Incorporated,
get your-
9575 West Higgins Road.
Okay, and then do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
So again, we conducted a traffic study following all industry guidelines on the Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways requirements. What you see in terms of access in here, this is based on feedback that we got from the county. Original plans, without going and doing the study, it was looking for a full access on Roselle. And the county basically flat out said no, and it makes sense. Why no? As was pointed out, and everybody has seen it, northbound traffic actually backs up quite a bit. If you allow full access, now you're gonna have somebody trying to make a left, trying to fight with the traffic that is queuing. So the county immediately said, you know, you should restrict that access to 3/4. And what do we mean by 3/4? Right in movement, and the out, you can make a left or a right. They allowed full access on Nergi. If you know the dual left turn lanes, there's a median that it's actually mountable or shaved that allows access to the parcel right now, which is vacant, and also to the pizza place. And I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the pizza place.
Sorry.
But that's why. We're not eliminating or narrowing lanes. It's just remaining as it is on Roselle. It's just allowing only the right turn movement in, you know, and again, this is based on feedback from the county.
Okay, you've done this now a few times for Jet Bright Car Wash or for this ownership?
We have done Jet Bright car washes before in other places, yes.
Have you ever gone back to one after a study of an
Yes.
active site?
Yes,
Okay.
we have. Do you want me to give you our experience, you know?
Yeah, please.
Sure. So, for example, I'm gonna use as an example, Village of Lombard and Villa Park, there's a Jet Bright. So we did the analysis and first of all, we're KLOA is the Village of Lombard's consultant as well as Villa Park. After it was done, we went out there again and we just took a look at it. There were a couple of times in which it actually backs up just like any car wash, but that only happens very few times, and this is what happens. Normally, when these car washes peak, you know, to the maximum, it's those days after a snowstorm, and all of a sudden you have a 40-day degree, and you know everybody wants to wash their car and get rid of the salt, or after a heavy rain, you know, and then it's like, oh, you know what, this is a nice day, I want to wash it. So based on Jet Bright's data, you know, because they collect all these, that typically happens for the most part about 15, maybe 20 times in a year in which you have that nice day after a heavy snowstorm or something like that. In those instances, what Jet Bright has done, as well as other car washes, and I have to say that car washes have actually learned from their past experiences, you know. What they do is they increase the service rate of the tunnel to the maximum it can process to reduce that queue. They also provide staff at critical locations within the circulation system during the peak periods. And typically those are at the pay stations and also at the exit, you know, lanes. So going back again to the observations, we saw that, but we also saw what they have done. And we were able to time and see that they actually move the cars or process the cars faster because of that. By doing that, it actually reduces the queues. Some of the older car washes, and I believe you probably have seen them, in which they don't have the ability of actually increasing the conveyor belt rate of processing that, they start queuing up. You know, I have seen some, you know, along Arlington Heights Road. I don't want to mention specific names, but we have seen it, that it actually backs up. These new ones, they have that ability, and that's why they're able to reduce the queues on those peak times.
Did you do any study? I mean, what does the circulation here if there is no southbound access exit?
If there is no southbound, yes, I mean, in the traffic study, again, we assumed that because this was based on feedback from the county. So we had to revise our study or our initial projections to assume this access scheme. So anybody that is going southbound on Roselle?
No, southbound out of the site.
Correct. So southbound out of the site. So making a left out of there during peak times, it's next to impossible because of exactly what it was mentioned in here, and that is a common knowledge. So they have the option of actually exiting north onto Nergi, and Nergi carries quite a bit of traffic going westbound to southbound because of the dual left turn lanes. However, it actually clears up because it gives quite a bit of green time to try to clear up that queue. When it clears up, let me rephrase this. As the westbound to southbound left turn movement is going, dual, you don't have any vehicles going in this direction because they're, you know, they go unprotected. So when it clears, you have that time or that amount of time that actually there's a gap and it allows people to get out.
On the Nergi.
Correct. And then they can make a left. And again, the dual left turn lane queue clear. So those people that want to go south on Roselle Road have the ability to actually get into the dual left and go south. Off-peak times, they can probably do the left out, no problem.
And there was, I didn't really see anything in the report so much related to, there's another exit out of the Rosario's Pizza that is onto Roselle Road that unfortunately it still has the ability to go north or southbound.
Correct. And
And then, so you have a light, that exit, and then this exit.
correct. So let me talk about that. So right now you have the Rosario's Pizza access drive, which is very close to the intersection. Then you have two access drives. You have the northern one and then you have the southern one. Under this plan, the northern access drive is going to be eliminated.
Yep.
So the only access drive is the one as far away as we can do it, from the intersection. So by removing or eliminating another access drive, you're removing conflict points that are too close to the intersection. And the county is actually very happy and positive about that. Anytime you remove conflict points within close proximity to signalized intersection that carries quite a bit of traffic, that's a positive. You want to have the movements to occur as far away
Yeah, no.
as possible from the intersection. Anything else, I'll be more than happy to answer it.
I think I'm good. Does that satisfy your question by any chance?
Somebody coming from the north going south, and if they want to get a car wash, how are they going to turn into the,
They're gonna have to go into Nergy and then turn in from Nergy. They're coming north, if they're coming from the north, going southbound on Roselle.
okay, then how does the cars get in and how do they get into the wash? Where is the entrance to the wash anyhow?
There's an entrance on Nergy Road and there's an exit on Roselle Road.
We have the traffic flow map on our,
Mm-hmm. Yikes. Well, then you haven't gone back to the Jet Bright on Lake Street over there in Roselle. So if you're coming down Lake Street going east, and all of a sudden you're in back of somebody and they say, oh, here, there's a car wash over there, and they just slam on the brakes. I don't know how many accidents, I'm sure we can find out how many accidents have happened over there because of that.
Okay, point noted. Thank you.
One of my things that I keep watching on this is that access.
Now,
And if you look at the Addison location, if you look at the Roselle location, the cross-traffic opposite turn is a nightmare in all of them. So as we listen to these, I mean, I'm partial to consider recommending making no southbound access out of the site.
I've seen that at the Lake Street where they'll ban the lefts. Because the queue to turn left gets messy. Cars can't get out, so they just put a no left turn sign up and everyone has to turn to the right.
Josh, are you
I've seen that
saying?
a number of times at that location.
And Lake Street's exactly what I'm trying to avoid, like in thinking of
Right.
this, and it's an afterthought. I don't think we have any recourse of going back after the fact and doing that, and you can't take the left-hand turn out of the Rosari's parking lot. But as that road continues to get busier and busier throughout the years, and it's at a point where it bottlenecks from the three lanes down to the two.
So just to clarify, are you saying no southbound access or no south?
No southbound exit. No southbound exit, meaning that you would.
I don't think
The
there is a
Roselle
southbound.
Road access would be right in, right out.
Correct. Right in, right out, and the only way to go southbound is off of Nergy.
Right, but there is no southbound exit off of Roselle Road anyway right now.
Yeah, there is. If you look at this, if you look at the traffic study, there's a north and southbound.
Southbound entrance.
So basically, a car is going to get there and sit there while 6 cars pile up behind it because it can't turn south.
I think I agree with you. We don't need that southbound.
I think the advantage of the site is that there's multiple ways. I mean, it's one of the opportunities they can avoid this mistake. Had there been a different hardship where they didn't have that, I don't know that you'd have the alternative.
I don't think we should audible the traffic study in the site plan. I mean, if someone who's in this parking lot sees, oh, it's busy there, oh, great, I'll just go the one that isn't busy. And likewise, if it's a light traffic day, like, okay, I have the option of there.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily trust that all people are gonna make the wisest decision in the midst of no traffic or any traffic. I mean, a minivan full of.
You could say that about
mom-
anything.
You could say it anywhere,
Yeah.
but we have the opportunity to make a judgment call on that now. So minivan full of a mom and some kids trying to turn southbound out of the site is gonna get halfway because they're not gonna see the other cars coming. Lake Street's a perfect example. You don't have a long distance view, especially if you're looking eastbound, cars heading westbound. You have no view of them coming up and around that hill. We can't fix that, but we're quite aware of this.
Well, for this one, I mean, you can see clear on because the gas station doesn't block it. And it's where they positioned the exit ramp or the exit lane.
The exit lane from people coming off the highway. Again, the whole area is gonna continue to get more and more busy. I think southbound exit is just an accident waiting to happen.
Just our traffic study. I mean, this was originally, two different buildings, so we could have, twice as much traffic here. If this were different businesses, or if this were a, hamburger stand with drive-through or something, like we have similar things.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have as much faith in the traffic studies you do, but it's definitely gonna create problems if you go to any of the sites. I mean, Addison's, traffic's died down at the Addison site in general, but when that thing first opened, that whole parking lot, Lake Street itself was an absolute nightmare. Millie's Pancake Shop next door was impacted, everything in that
I
area
guess
was.
we just drive down Lake Street.
Well, it doesn't matter if we're even trying to, avoid the 40-degree weather after the snow days. I don't see why they need that if they have the alternative access on Nergi.
Is that something we can limit, Karen?
Yes.
Okay, let's take that into consideration. Yeah, let's take into consideration. We have some other questions from some residents as well, so we should kind of go through those.
Please.
Let's take this into consideration.
And we would like to make the comment.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
After all the other comments, we'll
Absolutely. Do you want to just hold off until you've heard everything then, and then?
Yeah, just real specifically, like this, as Javier said, it would be, we could do a sign that limits it at the certain hours of the day, but the majority of the time, 85% of the operating hours of this car wash, there will be no problem with the left hand. And so to limit and put that hardship on clients, I don't think I think the science is showing what's happening, and we can put a sign up there and limit the hours. If that would.
Can I ask Jalil Oshana to step up, please? Can I have you raise up your right hand and at least swear in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sure, sure.
Okay, I have your name and address. I don't need to ask. Okay, what was your concern or your comment?
Basically, I'm just backing up Teddy's comments and just wondering, from the plans, where the entrance from Rosales, I'm what, 20 feet right in, right out from there? That's gonna block my whole entrance and exit of the gas station, customers exiting and coming in. And then the first entrance and where they meet the tenants for business is, we don't know how far that distance is, where they're saying, oh, we'll stack them. Okay, fine, you'll stack them. You'll stack 30 cars, but are you gonna stack 300 cars?
Mhm.
And then here we go, out to Roselle, blocking my entrance and exit, and maybe my main entrance all the way by Ted.
Yeah.
And just like to add another thing, we just got aware of this as, business owners, as residents, everybody. I mean, we don't know how long this has been in the plans, but at the same time, I'm in the same business. I got a car wash in the back. What is it gonna do to me? Number one. Number two is, I'm already in plans of rebuilding that wash for a tunnel wash. For same type of, floor plans or architect work. But, okay, fine, not as huge as they're building there, but at the same time, I have the hidden area. I'm not in traffic. My car is gonna come in and swing, 18-wheeler rig will swing in there, just like does my gas delivery. so basically,
But I'm thinking that if we build some of the discussions we've had about that southbound exit, if we work on that, it might help alleviate some of your concerns in terms of traffic pileup, right?
not really, because person coming in, depending how far is the distance coming out,
Mhm.
maybe it might not. But to me, it's just the backup, the entrance, going to get a wash, not the one that's got the wash. One that got the wash is, make a right out. But if they decide to make a left to go south on Roselle, then there goes the traffic jam.
All right, I have one more question for you too, based on something I asked earlier. Is the light consideration a problem for you? Because you're one of the neighbors, right?
Yeah. Like
that-
consider, well, depends. Depends how bright it's gonna be. I mean, I have a canopy, it's lit up as lit up can be, but, I don't know in the back as far as the residents.
Okay.
Mine's, I don't know how far setback their building's gonna be. My canopy's up by Roselle.
All right, point noted. Thanks for your comments.
Sure. Thank you.
Marvin Gibbons? Marvin, can I have you raise your right hand up and I'd like to swear you in? Do you
Marvin
swear to tell the
Gibbons,
truth,
1616 Indian Hill.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm Marvin Gibbons. I'm one of the neighbors of this proposed project. And we are really concerned about a couple serious items. First of all, our property values. We're a bedroom community. Yes, we back up to businesses now, but they're not going to be 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. car wash. That's going to just trash our quality of life in our backyards. They're no longer going to be a haven. To be listened to the drone of the car wash, to the vacuums. I mean, it's never ending. We love the idea of your sound wall. That was going to be one of our requests. However, we'd like it to be like the size of the tollway, where it's really going to bounce back. And then the lighting, concern number 2, is we are really already bombarded with Rosario's parking lights. So if that sound wall is up high, it should also push the lights back, but it's still, we're going to listen to that drone for the rest of our lives.
According to the plan, they've got some foliage and trees and landscaping that's supposed to
How long
block all
do you think
that.
of the trees they're going to install?
There's a,
5 foot?
can you comment on the foliage that you're planning on putting in, landscaping?
A lot of their landscaping, because their Lake Street one, it's 90% grass or landscape.
They have a pretty detailed plan.
All right, and then back to the traffic. So I went to the Roselle one, Lake Street, the day that it got nice out, a couple weeks ago. Holy crap. Both lanes, westbound and eastbound Lake Street, it was backed up. And then the control of getting the people out was just not there. You're coming in, you're coming out, and there was no control. It took 10 minutes to pull in, 15 minutes to pull out. Horns blowing, people getting frustrated. So that really needs to be looked at again. It's disheartening for all of us. And the biggest concern for us is the rainwater drainage. Now, our lots are all just eyeballing it 3-4 foot below grade. So when you're going to blacktop over 80% of these 3 lots, where's all that water going to go? You got to make sure it doesn't come in our backyard, please. And we look forward to working with you guys going forward. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Aaron, you mentioned the stormwater plan, like met all of the
Mhm.
requirements.
Yeah, so they won't be shedding any water onto the neighboring properties. Their engineer is here too, who can speak to that as well.
Okay, yeah,
But we've approved the preliminary
our
engineering.
Roselle's engineer says we're good with
Yeah.
stormwater. Thank you.
Okay, Shayna Demini? would you like to step up? Can you raise your right hand up and I'd like to swear you in? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this to the entirety because I spent some time on it. And sorry for my voice. I coach Conant Feeder, so I was yelling at the girls this weekend. I am a neighbor of Marvin's as well. I'm at 1600 Indian Hill Drive. I'm also a licensed real estate professional and I work from home. That means if the car wash is approved, there'll be constant noise pollution, which will directly impact my ability to do my job. I'm in strong opposition to the development just because of the impact on property values, the quality of life, and environmental stability. Firstly, the impact on our property values. I can say with confidence that a car wash is in such close proximity to residential homes will significantly reduce property values. Studies in real-world cases confirm this. A study in the Journal of Real Estate Research found that home values drop by 10 to 15% when adjacent to noisy commercial businesses like car washes. In Naperville, for example, in 2017, homes near a newly built car wash saw an average of 8% drop in resale value due to increased noise, light pollution, and traffic congestion. Appraisers and buyers actively discount home prices when a property sits next to a high-traffic business like a car wash. Right now, our homes are part of a peaceful, desirable residential neighborhood. We will, if this moves forward, it will introduce a 7-day-a-week commercial operation directly behind our homes, making it harder to sell our properties and forcing us to take a financial loss. Onto the noise levels. You mentioned the dB levels, but didn't specify what those were. A car wash is one of the loudest types of commercial businesses that could be placed in a residential setting. According to the research from the Acoustical Society of America, the drying equipment in car washes can reach 85 to 110 decibels. That's comparable to a freight train or jackhammer. Vacuum stations produce 75 to 85 dB, which is as loud as standing on a busy highway. Many customers blast their radios while using the vacuums, adding even more disruption. For reference, OSHA requires workers to wear hearing protection at 85 dB, yet we as homeowners will be subjected to this noise constantly without choice. This is especially concerning for me because I work from home. So I also drove past the car wash at 900 West Lake Street, which is mostly an industrial area, which is not the case here. So if this project is built, we will have to endure every single day, including weekends and evenings, right in our backyards. The traffic congestion, before I start this section, you mentioned that moving away from the lights is important to mitigate that traffic stop with the left-hand light. But that's actually just bringing it closer to the streets of Indian Hill. So that traffic is going back towards Indian Hill Drive where I'm gonna be and our neighbors are trying to turn left into Indian Hill. So that is gonna back up where we're gonna have to probably go on the other side of the street to get past the traffic to even turn left into our homes. Not to mention Nergi Elementary School not being too far away where bus is and parents picking up their children. My daughter goes to Nergi Elementary School and I see the backup there. So during school days, I can anticipate that being even worse with the school buses coming out and everything like that. But I personally visited the existing car wash and witnessed how bad traffic backups were. Cars were lined up in both directions, blocking the road as they waited to enter. There will be increased congestion. It'll make it harder for residents to enter and exit our own streets. Children and pedestrians will be at greater risk, especially at drivers and becoming impatient waiting to enter. Emergency vehicles even may struggle to get through if there are traffic backups. You mentioned a traffic impact study. I haven't seen that. I would love to take a better look at that. As far as the light pollution, this business will require large overhead floodlights for evening operations. These lights will shine directly into our homes, disrupting sleep and diminishing our ability to enjoy our private yards. Bright artificial lighting at night has been linked to disrupted sleep cycles for children and adults, reduced home privacy with high-powered lights and security cameras, possibly facing our properties, and a further drop in our property appeal, making our homes harder to sell. So the stormwater runoff, you mentioned that there was plans in regards to that. I also would be interested in seeing that as well. But if there is a runoff into our yards, basement flooding, erosion of our yards, mosquito breeding grounds. As far as requests, if this project is approved, I do agree with Marvin and some other of the people that came up, a professional grade sound barrier wall. I don't think a privacy fence will do that. And when he came up, I think also it would be beneficial if the fence, if the sound wall barrier was about 5 feet away from the property lines, and then those trees are between the sound barrier wall and our property lines. And then, so we have the first layer of the sound barrier, and then the trees to be the second layer. Limited operating hours, which was always already talked about to prevent excessive early morning or late night noise. Shielded downward facing lighting to prevent light intrusion into private homes. The traffic study was already discussed. So, although I oppose this approval of this permit, I am urging the board to consider our request if it does move forward. Thank you. I did have a question for the developer though. What are the dB levels? You didn't mention.
Any other comments from the audience? Please, can I have you state your name and address, please?
22 Indian Hill Drive.
Okay, and can you raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
We talked about stormwater. The 8-foot bicycle path is actually a funnel that takes all the rainwater, funnels it right down the sidewalk. It doesn't go on inert. I sent a video to the village literally the day after they paved it, and you could just watch. So water doesn't make it down to Nergi. It goes straight down the sidewalk, right down that little culvert to that little sewer that's in that culvert.
Okay.
So I tried to address it when it first happened, and luckily, I'm thinking of my neighbors. I'm far enough away from it, but kind of scared me when I saw that that was the result of the rainwater study for the pizza place. So, and obviously the noise. Right? Everyone, I don't want to beat a dead horse with the noise, but something more than just a little bit better fence to keep the noise under control.
Okay, thank you. I noted. Okay, do you want to take a vote to close the public hearing? Or does a,
He's gonna come.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you had some questions. I apologize.
Come up and address some of the stormwater items. Yes, we know that your engineer has looked at it, but maybe she can explain a little bit more and. then
All right.
I'll address the-
Yeah, can I have you, I have to swear you in, so need your name and address, please?
9437 West Knoll Road, Elwood, Illinois.
Thank you, and then raise your right hand up, and do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Stormwater. Like you saw the kind of stormwater work, the village engineers reviewed it, we've gone through and addressed all the comments in regards to that. The biggest issue I think the residents are probably concerned with is the drainage. So what I've done is storm sewer system that's installed along the left property line, our property line. I agree with the site so that there's like maybe a 2 to 5 foot area and that it goes up to the top of the berm and then it drops down to the crest area located in the crest area. So even in the event that the site backs up after the 10-year storm, it's designed to go into that grass area and flow out to Nerdy Road prior to overtopping the top of that berm and entering to your property. So you guys could actually have a better situation than what we have now, because that whole site does go. So we try to look at that so that would be addressed and reduce your conflict with what you guys have going on in your drainage in your backyard. Like you're also gonna have the sound wall up, when that gets located in it, we'll have to look and see exactly where that goes. We do have a water main easement that's located in there, and then we do have the tree maintenance, which I do know Jeff Wright is very, have it orientated and taking care of their landscaping. So I do know that at times they prefer to have the landscaping on their side of the wall so that it doesn't get degraded and not taken care of. And it's a comment that, yeah, that runs that entire property from 30 all the way. Right, that's that you could, so we do have to be cautious on where we put that touch in terms of that, so we'll have to look at that. But any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay, one of the things that we do want to mention about the traffic and Javier could expound upon this, Lake Street has one access point versus two. And so this would actually be a better situation than that, but also there's cross traffic in terms of the way the site had to be set up, where you're coming in and you go to the pay points and the traffic's coming out. So those two things are adding a little bit to that. But again, the timing would alleviate the backups on this site itself. I know there were some reports mentioned, but I could mention some reports as well in terms of land values have not decreased. In fact, I have letters from 5 communities that are very adjacent to residential, that are similar use, and that the property values have not decreased, nor has there been any concern about, nothing's been mentioned about it, but crime or anything like that. And so we have reports on the other side saying that the property values aren't. This is a high-quality architectural building with all masonry and precast construction. Landscaping is impeccable, and it is very, even the foundation landscaping that we're asking for the variance for, we didn't get rid of that landscaping. We placed that on the site. So the amount of landscaping is on the site. And so we're willing to work if you want different plant types along the east property line and then the location of the fence. But in terms of, we have the land values. In terms of noise levels, we're required at the property lines 55 decibels and 45 decibels along a residential area. That's the state of Illinois regulation. And we will meet that. The main source of noise is on the exit side, and it is going towards Roselle. But we have inside our building, it's actually separated, a heat chamber and a wash chamber. And those areas are separated, and then the blowers are in their contained area with a door that slides down and then comes up. And so that noise level is reduced in that way. But again, it's going away from the residential.
What about the vacuums that you have on the outside?
Yeah, the vacuums are all using the latest technology. So the turbines themselves are the lowest sound emitting turbines, and we'll give you all the cut sheets on all that. But also the specific thing is the nozzle that's being used. And it's very important to use a proper nozzle to keep that sound level low, to keep it minimal. And so that's what we're proposing. We'll submit those cut sheets as well. But the turbines are all in masonry enclosures. And so the turbines aren't out in the open for, that's where the noise is generated. In regards to So the sound wall, like I said, the staff mentioned 8. We're willing to put in a 12-foot high wall if that might be too high for the residents. And we're using what's called a Semtech fence. SIMTEK will also submit cut sheets on that, which is specifically designed as a sound absorber. So with that and the landscaping.
Is that absorptive?
Yes. Yes. And then we also, looking at the other items, I can have Javier talk again about the traffic a little bit more. I think we've found any fears about any drainage issues. Actually, the site is going to be better off than what it is now. There will be dramatically, right now, as they said, the water is flowing that way and it will be rerouted totally. We talked about the decibels. We told you, it was correct that at the dryers, at the actual dryers in the wash bay is 85 decibels. That's inside the wash bay, inside a masonry structure, and that is on the west side of the property. When you go out, the noise reduces, of course. And so, and noise is not like light. And noise, as you know, if this was all water and I dropped a pebble here and the waves came here and they would hit and have to go around, you would not have a wave in this area. So what I'm trying to say is any noise coming out at Exiden is not going to bend around and go the other direction. That's physically impossible for noise to do that. And also noise is not additive. You take a 5 decibel sound and a 10 decibel sound, you don't get 15 decibels. And so we're very cognizant of that. And again, the use of the high technology equipment will keep everything at the lower noise. The fact that we have 2 curb cuts on this site, I believe will alleviate any of the traffic consideration. And again, Javier, Lauren are here for any more specific questions.
Thank you.
How far does 45 decibels travel? Typically, unobstructed.
I will have to get back to you. Not a sound engineer, and so I've got a thing in my mind, but we will get you back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the commissioners to petitioners? No? We ready to close the public hearing? Oh, please.
I was just wondering the type of wash they're gonna be using. Are the blowers gonna be on constantly or is it per vehicle as it hits a sensor?
Ask them.
Side with the door closed.
Correct. Yeah, the blowers are located in this part of the area, which is the western portion of the building. This is where the tower is, the tower. So this again is all these concrete frames. The whole building is, but typically here there's a wall. security door that's closed at night. That goes up and stays open. Then there is a roll down door, goes up and down. And that is tied to the same thing, right? And that turns on and off, the blower is turning on and off. Whatever level of watch you get, it's all triggered by sensors going through.
But high peak hours, the door is gonna be forced to stay open because you're gonna increase the conveyor, correct? Speed. Thank you.
Thank you.
No further.
Please.
So it doesn't sound like we got a different option for sound barrier besides the fence he's talking about. But there was just a suggestion of going 12 foot high and 5 foot away. So I'll take that option if that's, I would respectfully suggest we take that option. The taller and the further away we get from our property to the fence, the happier we will be.
Okay.
Do want to caution the tall fence does make sunset come earlier. Wouldn't be kind to gardens.
We try to get my.
Okay. I also want to let the board know that there are two types of noise walls, sound abatement walls. There's reflective and absorptive. Reflective is like a hard concrete surface that might be a little rough. Noise bounces around a little bit, but a lot of it returns back to the source, often aimed higher because sound bounces and travels in a sound wave. Absorptive is also a concrete wall, but it has voids that trap the sound in the wall. And that also will, if the absorptive is on both sides of the wall, it'll also absorb neighborhood sound from bouncing back into the neighborhood. So when you have a hard reflective wall, you could have a neighborhood sound that you didn't even know was there before, and now it's hitting the wall and bouncing into your backyard. So I always like absorptive walls on both sides, and so I'd like to make certain that whatever wall we put there is absorptive on both sides, so neighborhood sounds don't go back into the backyards of the Indian Trail housing.
Okay, any other questions? Commissioners?
Make a motion to close.
The noise abatement wall usually goes to the height of the first floor of the residence. So if the first floor is we would look at the buildings, well, in a big study, we'd look at the buildings, and then we would set it so that the first floor is shielded. The feds like to shield the first floor because that's your living, that's your daytime. The bedrooms are not necessarily shielded in highway studies or second floors.
All right, let's get a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Can you get a roll call, please? Erin?
Jason Wertz,
Yes.
Nimish Johnny, Brian Boos,
Aye.
Leah Galante,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Barry Waller,
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay, commissioners, thoughts, 12-foot wall, sound abatement, south exit barred, what do you think?
All right, so, I commend the petitioner for improving the current state of this land. I think we were talking earlier about a similar situation we had a couple months ago where there was an empty lot with, very little stuff there, and, it's not that something's gonna be there, it's that, it's not gonna be empty anymore. So, given the choice of other businesses that this is zoned for, given the potential for, multiple businesses here, that wouldn't necessarily need a special use. There could be more traffic, there could be more noise, there could be more light, there could be a taller building. So I think, we should consider what we're being offered here. And, our comprehensive plan, we're trying to develop commercial in this area. That's why it's zoned for business. We've talked about the light and the water and the noise, and you know, ultimately sounds like the plan is going to be a net positive in a number of those areas. And I mentioned earlier, I don't think we should audible the traffic potentially, especially because we're going from, you know, 2 curb cuts down to 1 and pushing it all the way to the extreme south. So I'm in favor of this.
Without changes.
Correct, yeah.
What about
I-
the fence?
I think whatever's mutually agreeable between the folks and the property owner. I like Terry's suggestion of like, let's make sure it's the right fence, you know, not something that's gonna be a problem, you know, make sure it's the color that's, you know, reasonable, that fits the character. Not gonna, you know, block sight lines or anything like that.
I have concerns on southbound traffic in the exit, and I also have concerns on the sound. And I'd like to get more technical data on the storm retention plans. Storm retention plan that they have, stormwater retention plan.
What meets our.
So basically, I
village
mean,
code, though?
I don't have any problem. This is MWRD and it meets village code. The MWRD is very strict with,
DuPage County.
So we're partial waiver, so they have to.
Oh, we've got a
follow
partial
DuPage
waiver.
County, which is
Okay.
even more restrictive
Oh,
of
good God.
MWRD, so.
so as long as we have solid buy-in from
Yeah.
our engineering team, I guess we're fine. But,
I mean, our variances are the setbacks, the vegetation, the signage. I feel like we're spending most of our time on things that aren't covered by the variance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, let's focus on what specifically the petitioner is asking for.
all right. What about the wall? 12 foot, 8 foot abatement?
Yeah, I don't know that I,
Just throwing it out because we heard it, yeah.
It's already several feet above, or the houses are below grade. So, or if we use that as grade, then, you know, a 8 foot is gonna turn into like an 11 foot, and a 10 foot's gonna turn into 15 or something.
So I think I like Terry's idea of having a sound abatement wall though, so that's good.
yeah, I like the idea of the sound absorbent versus something else in that. I would probably refer back to the village staff and the engineering team as to like the height and
Yeah.
location of it. I don't know what the site would allow or where that fence goes. You know, as it relates to the lighting and the signage variances, I think some of it can be an improvement. I agree with you. There's a lot of other things that could go there without requiring a special use just because it's a car wash. I sympathize with some of the residents that are there, but there is also a auto mechanic, car wash, and gas station existing. And a restaurant that's open
Yeah.
later hours as well. One of my bigger issues with it is trying to understand the traffic study and trying to understand even a revisit to some of the sites with the traffic study. And that, what would it say is a southbound egress from the site on Roselle Road. Even if they're limited in times and seasonal or different pieces, it only takes one. It's one scenario, and if you limit that, you know, the opportunity here is this site actually has an alternative exit. Even if it only had this Roselle, I think it would still be under consideration of a northbound in, eastbound out, or northbound entrance and then northbound exit, which would hurt the site. But fortunately, it's an L-shaped site, and they have that ability to go out both sides, you know, so on top of everything else that we have here, I'd be willing to put out there the absorbent fence, subject to what the village engineers can work with the developer on and figure out the right size and location of that fence, but absorbent, obviously the way to go versus reflective. I learned that today. Thank you. And then I would like to restrict southbound egress on Roselle Road.
I think I agree with you on that.
You know, I think there's other instances here in the community that if you could go back, you would do something different. and we won't have the opportunity to do something different.
Okay, so if we modify the findings of fact to call out a sound abatement wall, 8 foot, that's what they're designing, is what they've been proposing, plus a restriction on a southbound exit. Are we good?
I agree with the Roselle entrance being a right in and right out all the time. You can only stack about 4 cars to turn left there, and then you're stopping cars in the car wash. So I don't think I have seen cars at I have a membership at the Lake Street one too.
Full disclosure, so do I.
Yeah, full disclosure, and I'm looking forward to this one because it's closer to my drive home. But I would not turn left onto Roselle Road from this exit. It would be, as a safety person, it's not unsafe or safe. There's more risk of a crash turning here because you got the 2 to 3 merge on northbound Roselle. You have a narrow median with a lot of concrete in it. And then you got southbound widening to 3 lanes. People are driving as fast as they can to get to the next light. So I think there's the risk of a crash problem for left turn exits at this entrance, as well as a stacking problem within the site, that I would recommend that we approve only a right in and right out access for Roselle. And so that's my recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Right in, right out.
Any comments from Joe and Lydia? Why do you think that's different though than the Shell? Like you can go, is it because you think
They
there's gonna be
have
more
one
people
entrance
at the,
that is right in, right out, and they have a full entrance. And the full entrance is away from the full exit is away from the taper of the 3 lanes to 2 lane area.
but then I also think the Jet Bright Car Wash is even farther north than the taper, if that's gonna be.
But then also closer to the next light. And if we were before the Shell gas station today, I think I would have a similar opinion. I can't go back and make Shell do anything at the moment.
So what would be restricted to? Like only the first 40-degree day after a snow?
No, it would be all the time. Permanent, right in, right out.
Just always right in, right
Always,
out?
right in, right out.
Solving for
4 to 6 p.m.
So that, the business owners themselves probably would discourage people from doing, and customers would see this and think, well, why would I? This is silly. Why would I try to go that way?
From a traffic flow, you would exit the building and automatically turn to the right for anyone trying to go south. Trying the stacking, I just think if you turn left and now you're going to Roselle Road and you're going to turn to the right and go north, you'll get out of there a lot faster. But all you need is one idiot in a big SUV waiting to turn left and nobody can turn right, and that whole crap will back up. Lake Street one, there's actually some space for stacking in the vacuum area. But this doesn't have that space for the exiting vehicle from the wash.
Are we solving for the one chucklehead though at the expense of
Right.
thousands of people who would be more convenient to just turn right when traffic is light because they're there in off-peak time though? Like, how are we inconveniencing them to force them to then turn right into Nergy, wait to turn right onto Roselle to then proceed southbound versus, oh, there's no traffic here, let me just go out that way.
Well, we're limiting their choice, but at the end of the day, we're only as strong as our weakest link in this scenario. And it takes one. You got people coming off the Elgin O'Hare going somewhere between 55 and 80, coming off that, then trying to catch that light at Nergy.
Always, yeah.
So somebody's coming off. It's an unpredictable scenario that we can put up a good fence and be a good neighbor here. And right there, if there's a right in, right out, you don't have to worry about it.
The public hearing's closed.
All right.
So today, my personal experience, I turned right on Roselle and 2 knuckleheads coming out of that Asian Metropolitan with their big vans. We're going 35, 40, right? Because we just turned right. Today, I barely avoided
That guy decided that he's gonna turn left on Roselle.
I think at the end of the day, we're gonna recommend this to the village board. It sounds like we're gonna recommend. So if that's what we're gonna be stuck on, the right in, right out, then that's fine with me, and then they can make their final decision.
So, all right, so, do you want to move forward with adding those two stipulations and the findings of fact?
Yes.
We're good with that, yeah? All right, let's do it. Can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a zoning map amendment for PZ 231113? That's the easy one.
Can you just, with the two exceptions?
Oh, this is the map amendment.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Yeah, so we'll put the conditions on the recommendation vote.
Okay.
So can I get that motion?
Second. Sure.
Roll call, please.
Namistrani, Brian Booth.
Aye.
Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Chairman Patel.
Yes. Okay, the next one is for the special use, so we don't need to put those stipulations here, we'll put it on the program, okay?
Yeah.
So can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a special use permit for PZ 231113?
I second, given the staff to work with the developer for noise absorptive wall along the east property line, and that we recommend to the village board the access on Roselle be right in, right out.
We're gonna do that on the variations, but okay.
Oh, okay.
No, we should,
Sorry,
I mean, we
good
should,
practice.
it's,
do it.
it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're second then, roll call vote?
Namistrani, Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Brian Booth.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay, finally, can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a phase for variations of PZ 231113, taking into consideration the two stipulations that we discussed?
Well, and there's three stipulations then. If the village still
yeah,
has their
the music.
original two, you have the music timing, you have the changing here of a privacy fence to a sound abatement fence.
Excited.
A dual-sided sound abatement fence. My new tattoo. And then thirdly would be the northbound entrance and northbound only egress on Roselle Road.
So can I get that?
I'll make
motion?
that motion.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Hey, roll call, please.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Namistrani, Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Brian Booth.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay, finally, can I get a motion to recommend approval to the village board for PC 231113 with variations and stipulations discussed?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Namistrani, Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Brian Booth.
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay, so that closes out the first petition. Moving on to the next one.
For anyone who who's here for JetBrite and that you want to be notified of when the village board meeting is, because I don't have a set date for when the village board meeting is. You can put your email address on the sheet of paper, which will make its way over to Kristen, who's standing up right now. So I can let you guys know when the meeting agenda is, because I don't have a date yet. Oh, yes, and all these plans are on the website under the Planning and Zoning Commission agendas meeting for tonight. So if you want to go and look at the plans, the traffic studies also uploaded all 169 pages of it. So everything's available on the website for you to review.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is PZ 241129. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for PZ 241129?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Your names are ceasing to mean anything. Brian Booth,
Aye.
Namistrani, Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Chairman Patel.
Aye.
Okay. So the second item on the agenda tonight is Barton Real Estate Development. The site is 415 East Maple Avenue, and they are requesting the following: a zoning map amendment from R2 Single Family Residence District to B3 Town Center District, a special use permit for a drive-through facility for a restaurant, a variation to permit a front yard setback of 82.5 feet in lieu of the maximum 5 feet required. And then there's general review of a new commercial building in the town center design guideline overlay and a plat of consolidation. A ground sign variation was included in the notification for the hearing, but they've rescinded that request. So the subject property is the village's Maple Metra parking lot, next to Parkside Park. Since COVID, essentially, we've stopped, selling permits for the parking, lot that was there. As the existing parking around the metro station has been sufficient for ridership. And even as ridership returns with more people going downtown, we don't see any use for this property for metro parking. So we have been marketing it for commercial redevelopment. Barton Real Estate Development, Matt Weil is here tonight to represent. They've entered into a redevelopment agreement with the village to purchase the property. It's within our East Irving Park Road TIF district. So there's a TIF redevelopment agreement for this property. He's proposed a 5,500 square foot retail center called Timberland Commons. And it has the ability to serve 3 to 4 tenants depending on how he divides up the building. He's the owner of Firewater Barbecue, which is a local barbecue chain with locations in Geneva, Elmhurst, Alsip, and Crest Hill. And the, of note, the RDA requires that all the tenants of the building, other than him, have to be sales or food and beverage tax generating businesses. There's currently a path located on the village's property that serves Parkside Park that will be relocated onto the park's property as part of the redevelopment. Matt's focus has kind of been designing a building that will be used by, people will come to the building for, the business is located there, but also it's next to a park. It's right off Main Street. So he's been very focused on trying to create a sense of place and attracting, residents to patronize the businesses that'll be located. So the first thing I talk about is parking. They have more than enough parking than what's required by code. They also have they meet all of the landscaping requirements. So they have a buffer along the rear property line. They're proposing a 6-foot privacy fence. Staff is recommending something taller, just to provide further screening from, vehicle lights that are parked in that parking lot. Just because, I don't think 6 feet will cover it, as kind of we were talking about with Jet Bright. The photometric plan meets all of our requirements, so there are no variations for that. Stormwater also meets all of our requirements, there's no shedding of water onto neighboring properties or anything like that. Everything will be, the natural flow of water will be maintained, and they'll do some BMPs for construction. Staff's recommending B3 Town Center zoning, because in our comprehensive plan, this was located and sort of connecting Main Street to the metro station. So adding it to the town center from a commercial perspective makes a lot of sense. However, the B3 zoning also has some designations that, encourage buildings to be built closer to the front property line, kind of not disapproving, but discouraging properties that have parking in the front. So they're requesting a front setback variation to have the building 82.5 feet from the front property line in lieu of the maximum 5 feet required. When taking a look at the surrounding businesses, that are also Zone B3, they're not 5 feet from the property line. And I think this distinction is more for infill sites that would be located maybe on Irving Park Road or in the actual Main Street area, but on Maple, it doesn't really make sense to have a business 5 feet from the property line, just due to the street itself, which is a collector street. So staff is supportive of that request. They also had moved it closer to the street than what was originally proposed to staff months ago. So they've worked with us to kind of bring it closer, but while still providing parking in the front. Every other setback though is met. They've requested a special use for a drive-through for the eastern portion of the building by the east, kind of on the east side. That drive-through meets all of the requirements in the zoning ordinance, so they're not requesting any variations for the drive-through itself. That meets all of our requirements. And then, as part of the new zoning ordinance, we now have formal design guidelines. So they're not, they don't require public hearings or anything, but if a project is already going through this project process, Planning Commission should review the design guidelines for the building and making sure that it meets those requirements set out. We especially have a town center as overlay for the design guideline that encourages high-quality materials, interesting designs, articulated facades, and using of windows. So the exterior has, of this building, has large windows that will be facing the park. There are articulated entrances for each unit on the building, cedar accents, limestone, and he's mentioned antique style lighting fixtures in his description. And then again, this is 2 parcels, so there's a plat of consolidation to combine them into one, and that meets all of our requirements as well. That concludes my.
Are there any public comments submitted? No?
We don't do that anymore, remember?
Yeah.
Commissioners, any comments? No? Anybody from the audience? Yes, can you please step
Do we
up?
want to have the petitioner first?
Oh, sure, yes. Yeah, let's have the petitioner.
Sorry, Lori.
Petitioner here. Would you like to add anything else to staff's presentation today? Can I swear you in first? I'd like to get your name and address.
Matthew Weil, 42 Sawgrass, Lamont, Illinois.
Okay, and then do you swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Karen covered a lot of it, way better than I could, so she did an excellent job. Thank you for that. Yeah, this center, we don't build centers that in our brand that look like your standard just boxes with revolving black, iron doors on them, stuff like that, or steel or aluminum. This center is definitely very aesthetically pleasing. You can see an example of it in Alsip where we built it on 116th and Pulaski. So the landscape plan, I thought that he did an amazing job. It's going to look really, beautiful being next to the park there. We've really tried to take into every consideration, again, aesthetically, environment, everything like that to make it look and beautify the entire street there, and something that we feel like the community would be really proud of. So we've tried to incorporate 20-foot high ceilings with the windows that wrap and overlook the park, trying to continue that through the building. And then for the folks that are located, it's just a parking lot now, there's really not a lot going on there. We have considered landscaping towards the rear of the property, and for those people that live just behind the building there, we feel like the building, when we say behind the building, we feel like the building's going to wrap a lot more, inviting people who are walking up and parking behind the building and walking into it from what we would call the rear. It won't have that look of a rear of a building. It's going to be much more aesthetically pleasing when you walk in from whether it's the front or the back. Trying to have kind of like you know, a very similar feel, what they're coming. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Question.
I don't have any questions. Anybody else?
I just have one concern to pass on to the staff when they're reviewing the final layout. The 3.5 foot wide sidewalk along the west side of the building meets minimum criteria for width, but any protrusions from the building would reduce the minimum width. I'd be very cautious. We don't want to have sidewalk that's less than minimum width.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Did you want to step up and, yeah. Can I get your name and address when you get to the podium, and then I'll just swear you in as well?
Corey Donovan, 206.
Okay.
So,
And then can you raise your right hand up? Yeah, and I'd like, and then do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
my property is directly related. We're the back of the building. I am requesting an 8 foot fence instead of, I know that's what staff has requested, but I definitely would like to let it be known that that's what we want to. And maintenance of the fence, who's to be responsible for maintenance, maybe something that's more maintenance free, heater fades, starts looking. We have a fence there right now that we have to keep ourselves. I know that new fence will replace our fence. We're okay with them not going back to back for aesthetic reasons. And then my other question is barbecue smell. Is there gonna be something that's gonna maybe hold that smell down? We don't smell. Not that I, you know what I'm saying?
I think those are pointed towards the petitioner, so do you have any comments on those two questions by any chance? The smell and the fence, who's going to maintain the fence and? And then what about the fence? What kind of design do you foresee and who's going to maintain it?
Ours is getting very.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
ours
it'll be
is
nice.
very- and
Thank you, Lori. Any other questions? Yes, can I please have you come to the podium? Can I get your name and address, please? And then can you raise your right hand up? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
So, I have some main concerns, similar to Lori's.
Obviously, smell was one of them, because I went online and I've read horror stories about barbecue places opening up in residential areas in people's homes smelling like barbecue 24/7. So that is one major concern I have. Obviously, states obviously the tall stack. I would hope that besides that, they could maybe implement some type of mitigation system as well. Obviously, as a secondary, obviously smell is a nuisance, so it obviously will affect people, especially in the neighborhood. The other aspect is my property backs up to this new construction as well, but only a third of my property falls within that. So technically, only a third of my fence would be exchanged to this new fence. So I have a concern about continuity because I have a 6-foot fence, style of fence, and so on. And as well as obviously with this new entrance, now the entrance is going to be on the west side. When cars enter, their headlights are going to be pointing directly at my backyard. And how headlights work is the left side has a cutoff, so you don't glare on coming traffic. Left side stands up. Well, I'm on that left side, so all that light's going to come towards me. So I want some type of understanding of what's going to happen with fence I currently have, and if they're going to obviously bring that whole fence completely across my property line, into the park side, because obviously that still is going to affect, because sound from the drive-through and the cars coming in, trucks obviously to facilitate facilities and so on are going to be big issues. And obviously I don't need that to obviously disturb my peace in my yard daily. So those are some main concerns I have.
Does a petitioner have any thoughts, or do you know where you're going to basically put the fence? I mean, is it going to be a C, or is it just going to be the back wall? What are some of your thoughts on that?
My house is above, my house is, the grade is very high compared to where the fence is, so it's pretty much like a 3-foot fence.
Yeah, it's just all back.
So, and you're going to be removing all those giant bushes that were in that portion. And the places with trees and partial arborvitae that I saw on plans, but still that's not going to be enough to mitigate the issue on the path. So, and this, I think, needs to be worked out between you and the park more so. And also, where he says about responsibility fence, fence then needs to be pulled off of our property lines and put on your property line. So it means that you have the responsibility for the fence now. Because if it's not our property line, you guys can always fall back and say, our responsibility, obviously, trying to put people here. But there is that possibility. I know people are having that same issue right now with the Walgreens, fence falling down, and I'm fighting about who owns the fence to maintain.
Yeah, I'd like to speak for the fence on my property and the area that you see my property and all the fences involved by me. I have a very strong feeling I wouldn't have now, what can be provided, can be new. Especially maintained. Don't maintain it, I don't.
Yeah, I saw the fence, with the shadow box style fence. I don't have that mechanic style fence. So again, continuity would be the case, and obviously it's the difference in fences, difference in heights, how the grade downward, and I have a gate right back there, which right at the property line, you might actually come up to half of my gate that's currently back there as well. So I think there's further discussion on fences and going at least the distance of where I have line of sight of your building. I don't want to see your building from anywhere from my yard. And I have arborvitae on one portion of it, but that's facing the opposite direction. So that's the other issue. I don't see a commercial building every day in my backyard.
Would you be open to maybe discussing this offline with them and basically just trying to come up with some solution?
Let's say on the plan, it stated that developer to work with neighboring homeowner and village to replace existing off-site fence if possible. So you do have stated that on the plan, so I want to obviously make sure it doesn't get missed.
You got a sentence, sir.
Can you,
Sworn, sir.
can I have you sworn in and? And can I get your name and address, please?
We
Can I,
swear you in.
can I, I have to
Swear you in.
swear you in. Can I get your name and address first? Sure. Uh-huh. And then can you raise your right hand up? Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Got to go through the formalities.
What it's worth, one meeting that I attended, village staff and the engineers spent a great deal of time talking about where lights were gonna be going and how it was gonna work, all just about your fence. They tried to make sure he heard over and over again. That's why we said in the documents, the goal is to keep working with you guys. They want to make sure you're protected. We certainly do too. You are probably gonna be one of his best customers if you can help it. So he wants to try to make sure you guys are. I understand, and I've seen the note, obviously, it's helpful, and, yeah, and I already have to deal with the light safeguard that's, not done so well, that currently is not blocked or anything. It is only 6-foot candle requirement, so, like, 5-foot candles here, I design lighting for them, so you're actually buying our lighting from something.
Okay.
But they're buying lighting. So I understand lighting layout, so, but it's, that's one concern is obviously lights from, obviously, your parking lot, but also traffic, because it's pointing directly as it enters on the west side of the building, especially if it's close to the drive-through, that's gonna be a very busy section.
Okay. Yeah, I encourage you to kind of discuss this offline and basically figure it out. Thank you. Any other comments, please? Can you state your name and address, please? Okay, and then raise your right hand up, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Walk that way all the time. I would like to add, in addition to that, we have a trash problem. You know, there's always trash back there. I don't want to pick it up myself, but I'd like someone to kind of chime in and help pick it up. So I would like to make sure that, you know, the trash is something that talked about. And then secondly, my main question is I understand the rerouting of the sidewalk, the park district. I'm also on the front of the park, so that park, we frequent a lot, you're gonna lose the ability to get to the park from where we are. I think rerouting the whole sidewalk will certainly make a change, but my biggest question is safety and concern for the skate park because of proximity to where the parking with this new path. That area is very tight, so I'm wondering, like, has someone really thought about the space for it? Do they have to make any modifications to the skate park to add in? Right?
No, it looks like it's shown on the plans and there's not any issues.
I just feel safety wise, I just want to make sure like there's enough like visibility for all the children going to the park.
What part of the path are you losing? Just, you lost me on that part. Just drive, yeah. Yeah, okay.
So I think that's going to.
Presently, there's a curb cut in the parking lot with.
Right behind Ace Hardware.
Yeah, no, I'm following it. I just, again, that, I was trying to follow a path from where she was talking about, and it was that drive aisle, then a parking lot, then the path. Yeah.
So with the yellow pylon in the middle, I don't think that's blocked on the plans. I think the fence is just along the south border. But the side abutting Walgreens, I believe that's still open in the plans.
No.
No.
Thank you. Sir, did you have something to say as well? Can I get your name and address, please? Okay, and then raise your right hand up, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
So we didn't talk too much about the drive-through. I'm the owner of Maple Leaf Coffee Roasters here in Roselle, and we're very much hoping to take part as one of the businesses involved in the development and in the spots in there. And it's possible that drive-through would be a really great addition for a cafe location in that business when we try to move some of our locations around as we're doing right now and some of our expansion plans for this year. So if there's any question about whether the addition of a drive-through would be beneficial for one of the businesses in there, would for sure be a huge addition for a cafe like us if we're able to expand our business in Roselle this year.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? Commissioners?
I have a question for Karen. The parking lot doesn't show the reconnection of the path to the Ace Hardware parking. I'm sure that was easily done when this was village-owned property, but now if we show a connection here, we probably need like a cross-access agreement or something. So I'm wondering what it would take to reestablish a curb cut and some asphalt to match the asphalt that's on the next property.
Yeah,
There's no, you can't drive your car between them because
No.
there's a pylon. It's just, it's for foot traffic or like on a bike or something.
Bike and walking, yeah, and it's used a lot.
Can I tag on to that with your comment about any cross access is, apparently there's not going to be any no parking here signs, but this is going to be private property and somebody could restrict parking here
Yep,
as well. And so,
especially if it gets busy.
and especially if it gets busy, how do we manage any public access to that park or parking?
The new library.
I mean, I like to enter from the east.
No, and I think the libraries,
The library.
we
was
haven't
well.
seen any formal plans for the library other than what they've proposed to the public. But their intent is to connect to the park more than just being next to it. They want to, physically connect to it through paths and stuff like that. So, the library would also be a place.
I think then my comment is probably less important than some type of cross access, at least for foot traffic at a minimum. Because you
So don't know if we want foot traffic access in a parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
It currently goes through a parking lot now.
I know, but right now it's unused. No, I mean, the parking lot specifically is like village property right now, but it's closed. It's not being used as metro parking.
Yeah, so everything for like cruise nights are moving to a different night. So they're not going to be on Fridays anymore, and the village is working with the Legion and cruise nights to kind of plan everything. So this site won't be able to be used, but we already have contingencies going into figuring out where everything is going to go already. So they're aware of what's going on.
Okay. Ready to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Anna Mastrani. Brian Boos.
Aye.
Lydia Galante.
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Harry Wallach.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Commissioners, do we have any other commentary? Do we want to make any amendments, stipulations to findings of fact?
This is the first time we've had someone request a longer setback.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Pretty straightforward.
Just want to take a vote?
Just appreciate it. How, explain to me the process again for the fencing. So it's their fence, they're paying for it. In an area where it impacts 25% of a fence, they're responsible for replacing 25% of this fence, and now the homeowner has to deal with the hardship of either connecting that, making continuity, or cosmetically.
Yes.
The
The developer-
homeowner's fence is inside their parcel. And so to have the contractor connect to that fence would be going into the adjacent parcel. Touch the fence. So
So I think that's something we'll have to work out closer to construction. Also, they're subject to an RDA that the village board approves, so I'm confident that the village will be able to work with the property owners and Matt to come to an agreement of how to solve, yes, this issue.
Without us putting it in the variance. Right? Without us.
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking.
I don't know if we could require them to install a fence on property that's not
No,
theirs.
right, right.
But I think there's a trustee in the audience tonight who's also listening to this conversation, and staff will be sure to mention it during discussion with the board. So I think that's something for, the board and the developer to come to an agreement on, not necessarily plan commission.
Is there a scenario where we could look at it if you impact 1% of it, you essentially impact 100% of it?
I don't know, because aren't there fence setbacks anyway?
Well, the fence setbacks, they're putting the new fences actually on what's going to be the retail center's property, where it's impacting obviously now a gap between those and the existing residential fences behind it.
Right.
One resident sounds like their fence is going to get taken
Right.
care of essentially 100% just by the logistics of it. And then where the second one is going to be impacted 25%.
Yeah, I see it on the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I can't require,
Yeah, I was thinking
and
the
by a
same.
zoning decision, we can't require them to replace a fence on someone else's property.
Yeah.
Also mention that the
RDA
fence isn't a
level.
variance that the petitioner is requesting.
Yeah.
But we did kind of ask them to work it out.
You can definitely make a condition. I mean, if the village is going to work out, it's going to work it out. I was just trying to pre-plan thinking of how can you less impact the resident in the scenario.
Sure.
The public
The public hearing.
Public hearing, the public
Sorry.
hearing's closed, so you can't really say anything. I'm sorry.
Hear me now? How's that?
No, the
Oh,
public.
sorry, the
I
we,
can again.
sorry.
So as long as if the village and the developer and the residents are already all in agreement that they're working towards solution here on this, then I don't know that we have much of a condition we can put on it, but
Don't
just,
trust me to do it.
Well, it's been,
of course I trust you. I don't know what authorities you'll have at the time. I'm trying to empower you.
Oh, no, I mean, they're subject to a redevelopment agreement where the village will be, providing money for them to redevelop this property into a commercial property tax paying property, whereas now it's not on the tax rolls. So the village has a way to regulate and control this. Plan commission doesn't necessarily.
plus it's been.
That's what I wanted to hear.
It's been very well documented here as well.
No, Karen just sold me. That's what I wanted to hear.
Right. Ready for a vote, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a special use permit for PZ 241129?
So moved.
second.
And then I was supposed to do the zoning map. first, wasn't
It's
I?
okay, we
Okay.
can go back.
All right, that's fine. Roll call, please.
And then Terry.
Aye.
Y'all's names are not meaning anything anymore. Brian Boos,
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Miss Johnny, Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay, gonna go back and can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a zoning map amendment for PC 241129?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Brian Boos.
Aye.
Miss Johnny, Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact of face for a variation for PC 241129?
So moved.
Roll call?
Brian Boos.
Aye.
Miss Johnny.
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Can I get a motion to recommend approval to the village board for PC 241129?
Second.
Roll call?
Miss Johnny, Brian Boos.
Aye.
Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Jason Wertz. Chairman Patel.
Aye. Okay. Congrats and best of luck.
I also don't know when this will be on a village board agenda. So if you guys want to give Kristen your contact information, I can email you in advance of that meeting. Okay, it's on the table by the door. All right. one more.
Okay, finally, one more. The next item on the agenda is PC 251134. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for PC 251134?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Miss Johnny, Terry Wallach,
Aye.
Brian Boos.
Aye.
Lydia Galante,
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Joseph Lewis.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye.
I really loved the handwritten poster for this one.
Ask about that.
So I don't know whose work that was, whose handiwork, but it's beautiful.
It's the property owner.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Yeah, there's no requirement on whether it's handwritten or, but yeah.
I just was like, there's so many this month. They ran out of signs.
All right, so the last one tonight is for 460 West Irving Park Road. It's a public hearing to consider a zoning map amendment upon annexation from B2 General Business in Schaumburg to B4 General Business in Roselle. Over the summer, we considered 440 West Irving Park Road, which is the property directly east that has a house that's now like a lawyer or accountant's office or something like that on it. The property is currently in Schaumburg, but can't be served by Schaumburg Utilities. And per our boundary line agreement with Schaumburg, those properties can annex into Roselle. So they have requested to annex into Roselle. Staff is recommending the B4 General Business District because it's what we zoned 440 West Irving Park Road. And just due to the size of the lot and its configuration, it's most likely that a developer is gonna be buying all of these properties. So make the zoning all the same, to attract a developer for that. Mike Kramer's here tonight, our last audience member. He's representing the property ownership.
Put him on first.
So if you guys have any questions, he's here to answer
Can I
them.
get your name and address, please, for the record?
Mike Kramer, 2 North 477 Bernice Avenue, Glen Ellen.
Okay, and then please raise your right hand up, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I have no questions. I'm always told getting the village result to be a bigger size.
So I guess we just did have one thing to consider that we were taken back a little bit by that 8-foot wide asphalt walking path that we would need to be responsible for along the whole frontage of the property. I know that's like an added almost $9,000 for us, along with the fees, which were kind of minimal getting in for, you know, all the engineering fees and all that. I haven't spoken to our neighbors. I don't know if I'm sure they're aware of what they have to come up with too, which would be almost like $22,000 for that path. I guess, are we absolutely required to pay for that, or is there any way? I know the idea is it's gonna connect to Schaumburg across the railroad tracks over there into the industrial park, but that's my only kind of concern or question.
So that'll be for the village board, to decide on. That'll be in the annexation agreement. It's not up to plan commission.
Okay. That was my only question.
Okay.
That was the black power.
Yeah, so we're doing, we're doing, right, and then we're doing a bike path, the 8-foot asphalt bike path along Irving Park Road in the near future. So instead of having him construct it, and then we do construct, like, because Irving Park Road is gonna be redone by IDOT this year.
What are the limits of that? I'm sorry, I'm digressing, but
I keep looking.
the IDOT's policy on bike paths now is they pay 100% if the locals accept maintenance.
Can we close this out and discuss this after?
Yeah,
Yes. We'll discuss it after.
okay.
All right, any questions
Who
from
wants
the
to go?
commissioners?
No, I just,
I'm just
All right.
kidding.
Can I get a motion to
Record.
close the public hearing?
Second,
Roll call?
Who was second?
I did.
Thank you. Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Brian Boos.
Aye.
Terry Wallach.
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
I,
Ms. Johnny. Lydia Glante.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Any further discussion or ready to vote? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the findings of fact for a zoning map amendment upon annexation for PC 251139?
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Johnny.
Aye.
Brian Boos.
Aye.
Lydia Glante.
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
I,
Terry Wallach.
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Can I get a motion to recommend approval to the village board for PC 251134?
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Johnny. Brian Boos.
Aye.
Jason Wertz.
Yes.
Terry Wallach.
Aye.
Joseph Lewis.
I,
Lydia Glante.
Aye.
Chairman Patel.
Aye. Yes, we're done with all three. It's good. Old business.
Kristen, do you know what the bounds are for Irving Park?
The entire village of Roselle. I think it's wise to somewhere in Itasca. It's 2 separate contracts, but it's just resurfacing and some ADA improvements at intersections.
They
Ask
keeping
them
the
to
same
put it
lane
in.
configuration
We're
or
not changing any lane
I
configuration.
wish they'd just make it 2 lanes the whole way. Just pave everybody's front yard.
Yeah, but no, not at this time.
I'd rather have it go to a 3-lane section and put some turn lanes in.
Yeah, well, the 1 to 2
We
to
have
1
an
to 2, talk
expressway
about
a half mile
accidents.
north if people want to go fast.
Right in, right out.
No, ask them if they can do it. My recommendation is to ask them if they can add it in. No, they can't?
The contract's already been let, so they.
Oh, it's too late. Shoot. But their policy now is 100%.
Yeah, there's additional work that needs to be done with the bike path, culvert, things like that. So at this point, we're not ready for it.
Okay, new business.
We'll have a meeting next month.
Yay!
What day is that going to be?
March 4th. March 4th.
It won't be.
Every month.
Okay, no Terry.
No, Terry.
All right, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at
So moved.
9:15?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.